So if somebody asked me why do I think it's important to talk to young people about gender, my answer is because I care about young people being safe and not having violence in their lives, because I want them to be happy. And so the way that that all connects to talking about gender is that I actually think a lot of interpersonal conflict and inner conflict issues that like young people have just with themselves. I think a lot of that actually stems from feeling pressured to fit into certain stereotypes or gender roles, or acting certain things out in front of my friends so that my friends will see that I'm a man or see that I'm a girl, or I'm going to make fun of this girl, I'm going to call her a slut because I'm proving that I would never do that, right? Because I'm like the right kind of girl.
If a parent approaches me and tells me that kids are too young to be learning about gender, I would tell them that regardless of whether we like it or not, kids are learning in very implicit and explicit ways about gender, similar to how they're learning about race, socioeconomic status, family structure, and other varying dimensions of diversity. To have conversations about gender and to provide explicit learning opportunities about gender gives us an opportunity to be intentional about our approach with kids and to have them get on a path of developing a really solid form of identity and comfort with oneself. So that's what I would say.
I also think that when it comes to talking about things like gender identity and gender expression, depending on how young the students are, a lot of them, they might not have the language for it, but they do already know what we're talking about, right? So I had a student who had never heard the word transgender before, but then I was talking about it in a class with them, and he was like, oh man, maybe that's me. That might be what I am. And it wasn't that because I was talking about what it means to be transgender, it's not that all of a sudden he felt totally differently about his gender identity than he had before I introduced this word to him. But now he had the language for it, right? Like now he knows there's actually a name for what I'm feeling, and there's other people out there like me.
A parent says learning about gender diversity conflicts with their values. What would you say, or how would you respond? My response would be, it's not a matter of right and wrong, good versus bad. It's simply who you are. Lessons and activities about gender diversity are incorporated into our curriculum to complement larger themes such as respect, kindness, dignity, and compassion. Our goal is to empower all of our students throughout the year to help them grow and succeed, and part of achieving this goal is to teach them about diversity.
So these aren't new concepts in and of themselves to a lot of young people. It's just new language. And language can be really powerful because if you know there's a word for that, that means I must not be the only person who has felt this way, right? So I think that talking to young people about gender helps us reduce things like interpersonal conflict, but it also just makes young people feel better about themselves.